Hey, what is up everyone? Today I'm going to be doing kind of a behind the scenes video where I'm going to be breaking down my newest stop motion, answering some of your questions and explaining like what goes into making these stop motions, how I do the lighting, choreography, VFX, sound, all that sort of stuff. It's going to be pretty low budget in terms of how I'm editing this. I'm just like recording this straight off over the video. I will add in a few things where relevant, but yeah, it's not going to be like super nicely edited or anything, so I hope that's alright. But yeah, let's get into it. So first up, my new intro there. I had kind of a mixed reception to that, but I do quite like it. I think it is more professional and yeah, it kind of fits my style a bit more now as my videos are improving like technically. And that other intro I've had since the start of my channel, so yeah. Alright, so first up, the set. You'll notice like there's some like powder. That's flour, baking flour. So what I do is I just sprinkle that over the set to sort of add a bit of snow texture to make it feel a bit more like Hoff, I guess. That's kind of what I was going for. Also for the lighting, I'll put a picture up on screen here. As it is an indoor thing, I wanted it to feel very like man-made lighting, so I put this like LED white light strip going down the center of the set, and I did have one lamp on the side, but that was also a white lamp, so it's very white lighting. Makes it feel, you know, very indoors as it's meant to, I suppose. Yeah, so I'll just go back a few frames there. The camera movement here was done actually after I filmed it. I just played the video back and sort of moved the frame around to make it kind of look a bit like it's shaking, I guess, because it is like a, you know, they're running. I wanted to feel like the camera was also running like kind of a chaotic motion as they're like running to get into position to fight. And yeah, there's a frame there, a couple of frames there where the lighting changes because there's like a background explosion. You can see some like snow debris falling down. I did that in Movie effects using one of their debris effects. So I just put that over the top and added a bit more shake to it. And then yeah, I did the sounds to reflect that. I'm quite actually happy with the way that guy sort of goes down onto his knee to get into position. It looks quite nice. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this shot. What I wanted to do is have a lot of movement, and I'm kind of following the characters as they get into position, and then once they're in position, the camera movement kind of ceases, I guess to show that they're like ready. There's another one of those like shaky explosions in the background. Here I just literally focused on from the guys in the back all the way up to the door and had it sort of zoom with that in Imovie. And you can kind of hear in the background the sound. There's like a force sound effect, and it sort of slowly starts swelling louder, just to kind of build tension. And then it ends with, you see the door moving. It is a subtle movement, but like it goes well with the sound, and I feel like that's enough to sort of give you that suggestion of like something intense is about to happen. Like, you know, something's behind that door. And you kind of see it from the troops' perspective, like how they would feel. I guess it's at their height. It's kind of what I was thinking. A couple shots of them nervous. I feel like here this, someone did say a comment about how the sort of shaking does seem a bit over the top. And to be honest, I completely agree with that. When I was making this, I thought that I literally reshot this scene probably about 4 times because the shaking just felt too extreme. And this was the best one I did. It is really hard to make them move like such small amounts and make it feel like realistic at the same time. Yeah, I'm not, you know, over the moon with this, but this was as good as I could get it. But I do like the sound of the gun shaking. That kind of makes it a bit better. When the door gets thrown off there, that was quite a fun shot to do actually. I just sort of like played around with, I put blue tack behind the pieces and kind of just like sort of moved them gradually. I always enjoy doing shots like this, like and it does look pretty cool. And then when they get thrown off the hinges, I add more smoke effects, which again was an effect done in Gun Movie Effects. I'll put a link to all the stuff I'm talking about in the description if you want to check any of it out. But yeah, that's how I did the smoke. And I used that effect quite a lot in here. I wanted it so you couldn't really see Darth Vader there. So it was kind of like that air of mystery, which is kind of similar to what they did in Rogue One. That's where I got a lot of the ideas for this film from. So yeah. You can see more of that shaking. This scene I really like. This was, again, obviously really heavily based off Rogue One. You can hear his breathing getting louder, and then sort of as the smoke's dissipating, the red light comes on, and he's clear. And that's like how it would be for the troops, like they would see it from this kind of angle. The lightsaber throughout this I did do in Hitfilm effects. I'll link to a good tutorial that I watched for that. It's just easier to do it in there than Saber movie effects because you get a lot more freedom. For example, you see where it's going behind that little like 1x1 brick there. You wouldn't be able to do that in Saber movie effects. It has to be the full shape. So in Hitfilm Express, you can clip it to whatever shape you want. So that's why I used that. I also did shine a red finger light onto the figure to kind of show how the light would interact with the environment. I use them a lot. So here the lasers are all Saber movie effects. Works pretty well. And then also what I'll do is go into Gun Movie Effects, and there's like a flash, like a circular white light that you can put over the top to sort of, you can see kind of on the figure's face when they shoot, like you can see it kind of, and on, I think I used the yellow one for the lasers actually, but yeah, it kind of just makes it pop a bit more. There's a lot of lasers going on, it's kind of hard to follow. When I was doing the sound for this, I literally just layered like 10 different laser sound effects for each bit and kind of hoped it matched up. So this bit was quite fun to make. There was a tutorial I saw, I can't remember who it was by, but I will link it, of like sort of having the camera like move back slowly in time with the figure. So what I did is I sort of secured the camera down. I didn't secure the camera down, but either side of it I blue tacked down like a book and a ruler, so it was like fixed in position, so I could slide it like forwards or backwards. And what I'd do is for each frame as he moves forward, I'd slide the camera back maybe like a quarter of a centimetre, and then I'll just do that for each frame so it kind of follows him as he's walking down the hall. I'll turn this down a little bit so it's not, because this bit is quite loud. The VFX here took absolutely ages to do. What I'd do is like whenever he deflected a blast like that, I'd put a big lens flare onto the saber to show it clashing, and then I'd also show I can't see it that well on that one. I'll go back a bit. So what I'd also do is whatever way he deflected it, I'd have the laser then going off, so it's not just like hitting the blade and disappearing. The laser like bounces off and then hits into the wall or something like that. And also when the laser would hit the lightsaber, I'd also add a bit of a smoke effect over the top, so it kind of like shows like, I guess, the heat of the blade and laser. So yeah, that's what I did for that. The choreography, again, pretty heavily based off of Rogue One, especially with him like throwing that guy up against the ceiling using the force and then slashing him. I didn't actually have to do any masking for that because, as you can see, he was just out of frame enough where I could just have the rig out of frame. So yeah, that worked pretty nicely. And then I did sort of add a yellowy glow to where he's getting sliced. Yeah. A lot of the way I sort of plan the choreography is just like, I sort of just sit there and think about, before I start shooting, what needs to happen in the shot. And I think if he's got to deflect this guy and that guy's bullets, like where he's got to move the lightsaber to. Yeah, and so it was quite a long shot, but then here I I started adding a bit more camera movement, and this kind of blends the two shots pretty nicely. So this is one shot and then this is the next shot. But as you can see, the camera sort of like follows it, so it almost feels like blended in. And yeah, another thing I did here, having the guy sort of behind one of the other troopers' helmets, so I didn't have to go through the pain of like showing the blade going through. That definitely sped things up a bit. And also, like in Star Wars movies, they tend to not show too much gore, so I guess that kind of plays into that. Yeah, there you can see another like lens flare from when he's blocking the bullet. And then he puts his hand up, force pushes the guy. What I did here, I did add a bit of camera movement, but when he hits into the wall, I actually had the wall kind of flex back a bit, so it actually feels like quite a heavy impact. And then again, I added some debris falling down to sort of make it feel like he's took a bit of the wall with him. Here I had to do a little bit of masking, but what I did, all the shots where he's up in the air like this, I had a rig attached to his head, and that was out of frame, so there was no masking needed here. Yeah, I quite like this shot, to be fair, like the way he's kind of like struggling, and you can't really see what's going on. Well, you can see his legs, but it's sort of out of frame, but you know what's happening, but it's kind of like discreet. I kind of like that. And then yeah, he gets dropped to the ground, and when he hits the ground, I added a bit more smoke to show like the debris, like the snow sort of getting kicked up a bit from when he lands. Yeah, that's it. I'm just trying to think if there's any other things that I haven't mentioned. I think that is everything. I'll link all the stuff that I've talked about down in the description. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave a comment and I'll get back, I'll reply to them. Yeah, thank you guys for watching, and let me know if you want to see more videos like these, more like breakdown videos. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.